Matt with Mainstreet Medina. Welcome to another edition of Medina Minute. We're going to sit down and talk with some familiar faces from around town and learn a little bit more about them. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Medina Minute. We're here today with Andrew Dutton from the city of Medina. Andrew, welcome. Thanks for sitting down and talking with us.
Thanks for having me.
So you are brand new to the city, correct? Brand new position here?
Brand new working for the city, yeah.
Very, very cool. How did you end up here?
Well, I'm originally from Medina.
All right.
I graduated from Medina High School in the last century in 98. Yeah, in 98. So.
I didn't realize that. All right, cool.
And we went to Ohio University, then Ohio State, and hung around Columbus for about 10 years.
Yeah.
I've worked at Worcester for the past 8 years, but I was living in Medina the entire time.
Gotcha.
So when I noticed this position, I was very excited about it.
Sure.
I haven't lived here, grew up here. So that's kind of how my path to Medina.
Okay. It's funny, we had kind of the same thing happen with Community Development Director 2 terms ago when Greg Hannon was here. Okay. He was working here, living in Hudson, but he grew up in Hudson, so he got to do that same thing, go back to his hometown.
All right, yeah.
So very cool. I didn't realize you grew up here. So your position is your Community Development Director for the city of Medina.
Correct, yeah. So I oversee building, economic development, and planning.
Okay.
So I'm a planner. That's my background. So we have our chief building official and our economic development arms of the community development.
Sure.
So I oversee that with, obviously, the planning is where I take kind of my lane there.
Yeah. What's one of the coolest projects on which you've ever worked?
Wow, that's an interesting question. There's been a lot of big projects I've worked on. One that I thought was really cool was in near downtown Worcester, kind of just north of the downtown, was a former nursing home that was a little bit dilapidated. The owners sold it to a not so reputable person who is facing some charges right now.
Oh, lovely.
So this big old nursing home kind of near downtown was in poor condition. It's in some legal limbo. And the city's CIC and the county's CIC went together, purchased the property, basically demolished the structure, cleared the site, got it all ready, and then a local developer is currently constructing townhomes and an office building on there. And it's just something where you had, an eyesore, a big problem, and it's turned around to be kind of the crown jewel of the north end of the city there.
Very cool. What? I hate to ask this.
Oh boy.
But compare Medina to Worcester. It's interesting, Worcester, they've been a Main Street community for over 30 years. Sandra, when she was there, she was a big mentor of mine.
Yeah.
What do you see as the strengths, or what do we have that maybe Worcester doesn't?
Well,
Give us a leg up.
Yeah, there are a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
I mean, we're both the county seats, similar size, similar population, some similar industrial base. I think location is a big difference between Worcester and Medina. I mean, here you can get to Akron in less than half an hour, Cleveland in 40 minutes. Worcester's kind of on an island down there, and there's really nothing else in Wayne County other than, not nothing else, but it's surrounded by a lot of farmland.
Right. But they have like 27 exits when you're driving down 71.
Yeah.
There's a million ways to get there.
And as far as downtowns go, I mean, obviously the square is a huge benefit. I mean, and it's used well by Main Street and the city, and everything that's focused on the square is fantastic, and it's something very few places have.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. I'm curious, both of our towns really celebrate older buildings. Are you an old building guy, or are you a new construction guy? Where's your passion lie?
I guess I would go with old buildings, but I realize that there's a need in situations where that old building's had its time, and it's time to go. It's time to make that property turn around. Actually, when I was walking over, I took pictures of the square just because it's a beautiful November afternoon and leaves are changing.
It is pretty today.
And I think it's going to be 70 degrees. But so I mean, just working here, that feels special to me, being at work and just walking down here to talk to you and going through the square. I mean, that's just something that you can't replace. Yeah.
What was it like growing up here? Like, was this a place that you hung out with your friends, or did you ever come up to the square, or what did you do?
Well, unfortunately, I lived pretty far south of town.
Okay.
So actually across the street from me was Cloverleaf School District.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
we're very, very border. So getting me into town was, a thing I'd like to do. But
Hook up the horse and buggy and plan the day.
My closest friend actually lived a country mile away from me on the other side of the block. So either walk the road or you cut through woods, however way you want to cut it. But yeah, I mean, the square was always, it was a focus, but I think now, since I've came back, it's really being utilized a lot more. And it's really the identity. I mean,
it is.
It's really the identity of the community, and it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious if you were able to have like 2 weeks paid vacation time off, where would you take the family? What's your dream trip?
Wow. You're going deep here.
Real deep. Got to get to know you. You're not the new guy in town, but you are.
Well, I've not traveled too much out of the United States, so I've been to this place called Canada, and that's it.
Okay.
So my wife as well. So I would say pretty much just anywhere in Europe.
Anywhere outside of North America.
I mean, Spain's beautiful. My wife I'd have to go to Paris. She has to go there.
Yeah.
So, basically, a trip through Europe would be awesome just because, we've never been over there.
Sure.
Never really had the opportunity. But maybe that might happen someday.
Absolutely.
I'm not promising anything. If anybody's watching this.
So the wife shouldn't get her hopes up. Like Christmas morning, open a package.
Yeah, probably not.
You
this
might go to
Christmas.
Canada.
Yeah.
All right. What do you like to do in your time off? Do you have hobbies, or are you a big reader? You puddle around things?
Yeah. So my kids are very involved in extracurricular activities, sports. My son's in band at Claygate. So basically, it's shuttling them around, going to their events. I coach baseball in the spring.
Cool.
So we're pretty focused around the kids at this point in our lives. So that'll I'm sure tail off after a bit, but that's where we are now. I try to golf, but it doesn't happen too much anymore. I'm trying to get them to golf, so it's
fun.
It's something you can do with them kind of your whole life. So,
Yeah. What's your favorite course around town or in the county?
We play Pleasant Valley a lot,
Okay.
and I grew up right by Ridgetop, so
Nice.
Yeah. Almost could walk there, but carrying bags, it's a little much. So yeah.
What do the kids think of town? Do you bring them up here? Do they like it?
Oh, they love it. Like I feel like I'm brainwashing them sometimes. They're so Medina-centric. Sometimes my son will go to school and he's got a Medina shirt, a Medina mask, a Medina hat on. I'm like, okay. He loves wearing that stuff, though. They're very.
Yeah.
I didn't force it on them. They're just very proud of being from Medina.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
How long have you been in the position now? 2 months?
3 weeks.
Oh gosh. Okay, 3 weeks. I didn't realize it was that short. Big picture, what's kind of your personal passion? What do you hope to achieve here? The city has been through, I don't say been through, has gone through a lot of changes. 2007, there wasn't a whole lot going on in the square. We're at 30% vacancy, and now things are booming. What's kind of your personal path, or where do you want to take the city?
Yeah, so you mentioned 2007. It's not as if I'm walking into a situation where we've got to reinvent the wheel.
Correct.
So it's not like you have a 30% vacancy or businesses are struggling to stay in anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's basically just to build on what we have, target redevelopment, and really just keep it going how we've been going. I mean, I see Medina as a great success over the past 10 years or so, and it's not like I wouldn't change anything. There are obviously places you need to target for change, but.
Sure.
I mean, the overall is try to facilitate that and do what we can to keep it going.
Yeah. Growing up here, you have a different perspective on town than I think, newbies, like those of us that have been here, well, I don't count, but people that have only been here like 20 or some years, they're still newbies. But growing up here, when you have guests from out of town or family come visit, kind of what's your hit list of, we got to go here, we got to eat here, we got to see this? You're the travel guide.
Oh, yeah. I mean, kind of depends on who you're entertaining, I suppose. But it's obviously you obviously go to the square. But the Foundry is really cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
It's a place where you can throw $10 in tokens at your kids, and you can have some time, and they can have some time, and they have a blast, and you have a blast. So I think it's a great setup there. But yeah, and just different shops on the square. I mean, there's always an event too, right? I mean,
it feels like it.
All year round. Yeah, you're pretty aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's always an event to go to. There's always something happening. So I don't know if there's specific spots. It's kind of like depending on who you're with.
Just go hang
There's
out.
kind of options for everybody,
Yeah,
really. Yeah,
that's true.
Right.
Do you have a favorite restaurant on the square, or a place you guys like to go?
I like Time. I think
Yeah?
it's probably one of the best burgers I've ever had. I'm a big burger guy, so.
Very cool. Do you go to PJ Marley's?
Yeah.
What's your favorite burger there?
Oh.
This is very important because it tells us a lot about your personality.
I don't know all the names. The one with bacon, I don't know what the name of it is. But
I don't remember that one.
not the one with peanut butter, that's for sure.
That's my favorite. Have you
man.
tried it though? It sounds
I'm not going to.
Sounds disgusting. It truly does, and it's messy as heck. But it is really good.
There's a Ron Swanson one that sounds pretty interesting too.
Yeah.
It's like 6 patties, and I don't know what's on that thing, but it's gigantic.
How do you feel about fried eggs on your burger, or eggs over easy?
No.
So you're traditional bacon, lettuce, tomato.
Yeah, and I'm
double bacon.
I'm very predictable as well. So
Okay.
I go to my wife could probably order for me wherever we go because I'm ordering the same thing. It's probably something I should change up a little bit, but I don't know.
You should try the President Carter burger. Just give it a try.
Boy, all right.
Give it a try. Yeah. What do you think the future holds for Medina? Where are we going? Are we going to continue to grow? Do you think we're going to see more younger people? Is it more of a family town?
Yeah, I think if you're from out of town, I think that's one of the misconceptions is that Medina has a lot of area to grow, because really the city is kind of surrounded by township development on basically 3 sides. So we do have some industrial land to the west where there's some growth there, but I believe we lost some population in the last census basically because we're residentially, it's pretty much built out.
Yeah.
So that's where really we have to kind of focus inward and look at places where maybe could be better utilized for residential, for commercial. Working in Worcester, you basically had farmland all around the city. So there were, you had kind of both things, some greenfield development and some redevelopment in the older areas. So here I think it's maybe, it's a disadvantage in some respects and it's an advantage in others. So now we can really focus on, building on what's already developed.
Yeah, that is true. What do you hope your kids take away from growing up in a small town?
Well, I don't know if we'd call it a small town, medium town.
A small city.
Yeah, small city. I think it's pretty, for small city or whatever we're coining the term, it's a relationship with the people and the community. I mean, obviously there's a big, and I was kind of a bit surprised, the relationship between the city and the schools is very tight, and I think that's fantastic, even though our borders are not the same.
Right.
So being, my wife's a teacher, she works at Waite, my kids are in the schools, I work for the city.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're all kind of in one.
You guys are involved.
Yeah, we're in a community that's fantastic to be in, and I hope that's what they take from it. And honestly, growing up, like probably most other kids, I want to get out. I wanted to go other places, and I went way over to Columbus, so didn't go too far.
You are kind of predictable, aren't you?
Yeah. And then I kind of realized, I want to get back. And I boomerang back, which again, a lot of people do. And it was kind of interesting seeing it from a different perspective. I remember going to the farmer's market for the first time and going, wow, this is awesome. This is probably I'm not a crazy farmer's market guy, but this is the coolest farmer's market I've ever been to. This is probably the perfect setting for a farmer's market.
It really is.
So it was kind of just a new set of eyes, maybe a little older, a little wiser. So that kind of deal.
Well, very cool. Andrew, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. Welcome to town, and we look forward to working with you.
Great. Yeah, that went fast. I guess that's a good thing.